Okay, so we're gonna make an easy zipper pouch today. I'm gonna start off with, here's my pattern. Um, I have 10.5 by 7.5, and that's with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. We're gonna cut 2 main fabric, 2 lining fabric, and then 2 interfacing fabric if you like, if you want your bag to be a little bit stiffer. And then we're gonna do a zipper tab. That's 2.5 by 2.5. Okay, so I've cut my fabric. I have my zipper tab, 2 of those. I have my lining, again 10.5 by 7.5, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I went ahead and put a lightweight interfacing on mine. This is just iron on, so one side will be kind of rough and then the other side will be smooth, and you want the rough side down on the wrong side of your fabric. If you have the glue side up, when you iron, it'll stick to your iron. So you want to make sure that rough side is on the wrong side of the fabric. So 2 of my lining and then 2 of my main fabric. Okay, so we're gonna want a 9-inch zipper for this project. And this is a great little pattern, so you can make it bigger or smaller. You just adjust the top of it to what kind of zipper you're using. But for this one, a 9-inch zipper would work. I actually only had a 14, so I cut it to 9 inches and I just sealed it off with a stitch on the bottom. So we're gonna take our little zipper tab, and you wanna fold it. We're gonna fold and iron it, but I'm just gonna show you what I'm gonna do. We're gonna fold it to where just about the sides meet, and we're gonna enclose that little tab, just like that. What you wanna make sure is that your zipper tabs are even with the end of your fabric, so everything should line up on that seam right there. So if you fold it and it's a little too, if it's hanging off over the edge, you don't want that. Or if you fold it and you have fabric showing, you don't want that either. It needs to be completely flush. For when later on when we flip it, you want your zipper pulls and the edge line of your fabric to be all in line. So I'm going to go iron these and then I will show you what they look like. Okay, so here are my little zipper tabs on each side. Again, I just folded the ends in, and then I sewed a straight line just to attach them to the fabric. And then what you're going to do is you're going to trim off the excess. Make sure you don't trim into your zipper. Okay, on to our next step. We're going to start sandwiching. So I want to show you, I have my main fabric with its right side. I then have the right side of the zipper to the right side of the fabric. And then here's my lining, and the lining will go right side to the wrong side of the zipper. So you'll have this sandwich effect. So you have the lining, the zipper, and then your main fabric. Okay, so I have those all clipped, and I'm going to put a zipper foot on my sewing machine, and then we're just gonna sew as close to that zipper as possible, and you'll feel it. So when you put your zipper foot down, you just want to line your zipper foot up right next to that zipper. Okay, so I have sewn with my zipper foot, and this is what it looks like opened. And here's my zipper. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to press your lining out, and you're going to press your main fabric out, and then you're going to put a stitch right along the edge here just to hold it in place so it doesn't roll up over your zipper when you try to unzip it and zip it back up. So we're going to go put a stitch in that. Okay, so I want to show you, I put in my stitch right along my zipper, and then my lining, that's the opposite side. So when you press, make sure that you press them both down together and you're going to be catching the fabric and the lining in there. Okay, now we're going to make one big sandwich. So you're going to take your single right side that you have, main fabric that hasn't been attached to a zipper, that's going to go down. You're then going to take what you just sewed, your zipper piece with the lining attached to it, and you're going to do right sides together, and then you're going to have your lining up, and then you're going to take your lining piece and put the last lining piece and put right side and right side together of your lining. Okay, so let me show that to you again. So we have our single right side, our right side with the zipper, that's the back of the lining, and then we're going to put the other lining attached to it. And we're going to clip all these together. Okay, so I have sewn all those layers together, which we showed you, we sandwiched them all in. So when you open it up, you should have your right side of your fabric and then your lining side of the fabric with the zipper in the middle. And now we're going to do the same thing that we did to this side. We're going to go press this down, just like how we sewed to keep the fabric from rolling into the zipper. We're going to do the same, and we're going to press the fabric and the lining down, and then you'll sew right through both of, on this side, you'll sew through all those layers again. Okay, so I have all my stitching done. This is what it should look like. You're going to open your zipper about 3/4 of the way, and then we're going to put fabric and fabric together and lining together, so it will look like this. We have my main fabric and my linings together. We're going to clip this all around and sew it. When we clip, we want to make sure, here's my little tab, that this tab, when I clip it, is pushed up to the right, to my right side of the fabric. So that way, when it's sewn and I flip it, you can see my little zipper tab right there. Okay, so another view, sandwich view. Here it is. You just put your finger behind it and kind of push it up, and then you can clip it. And you want to make sure that the zipper tab is pushed up towards your main fabric, not your lining fabric, because then if it's in the lining fabric, you won't see it. And then we're going to clip this all the way around, and we're going to leave about 2.5 inches on the lining bottom where you're not going to sew. So I'm going to clip it, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have it all clipped all the way around, and then remember you're going to leave a bottom part of the lining open so you can flip it. So you'll start at one corner of the bottom, so all the way around, and then stop when you get to the other one, and you'll have an opening. And then remember to keep your tabs flipped up, and then we are sewing this at our 1/2 inch seam allowance that we put on the pattern. Okay, so I have sewn all around. go ahead and clip your corners so you can have nice points when you flip. And then if you have a lot of excess somewhere else, you can kind of trim that down a little bit too. Or if you got off a little bit, that's not a big deal. Just trim it and make it even. And then we're going to pull through our hole. It's going to take a minute. Almost. Almost. Okay, so we pulled through our hole. We should have the lining up. And this is why we wanted to leave our 3/4 of the zipper open, because we open the rest of the zipper and we can flip our pouch. There's our little zipper tab. And here on this side, very cute. Okay, so I'm going to push all my corners out so you can go through your lining and then take, I use one of these little like skewer sticks and I poke all my corners out, and then you're going to tuck that seam allowance at the bottom, and then once you have pressed all your corners out or pushed all your corners out and pressed it, then you can close this up. Okay, all my corners are pressed out, and then I sewed my bottom up, and you're all set. Happy pouch making!